Welcome to Inside Design with Kandrak and Cole, hosted by two nationally published Atlanta interior designers, Joanne Kandrak and Kelly Cole. These energetic women are also world travelers, charity givers, and bloggers with a wealth of information to share and stories to tell about the interior design world. Okay, now just a warning, this is going to be fun and not too serious. After all, they still do have an interior design business running at full speed.
Hey everybody, this is episode 121 of Inside Design with Kandrak and Cole. And today, Kelly and I are so excited to have a very famous guest with us today, and that is Cortney Novogratz. Cortney's an interior designer, developer, and one half of the Novogratz design duo, along with her husband, Robert. They are beloved designers, well known for their eclectic style and boutique-inspired furniture and home accents. And as we have sitting here on our table, in March of 2020, they published a book titled Design Fix, Chic and Stylish Tips for Every Decorating Scenario that tackles a long list of dilemmas and smart tips on how to solve them. I love that so much because so many design books have beautiful photography, but this has that as well as some really great tips, and you can learn from it. So
yeah, for sure.
They've starred in TV shows on Bravo and HGTV. They created a line of furniture and home products which feature boutique designs at affordable prices. Their products, furniture, lighting, bedding, and more, are sold at major retailers like CB2, Amazon, Wayfair, Walmart, as well as their e-commerce business, shopthenovogratz.com, which is so cool.
So they've designed and developed many unique properties around the country, from New York City to Napa Valley. And I have to tell you all, I don't remember if this was before, Joanne, we even got into design. I may have still been in my corporate world, but I watched the Novogratz on their first show and literally thought they were the coolest thing I'd ever seen on TV. And when their PR firm called us, literally I fell out. I'm just so excited for this conversation. So we're going to talk a lot about it. But in 2014, they moved their 7 kids, which we're going to get into, and renovated a 1920s house in the Hollywood Hills known as The Castle. And it's all featured in this book that we were just talking about, Design Fix. But they now live in New York, and they're working on a new project we'll discuss in a few minutes. So we can't wait to talk to Cortney. But before we get started, we want to let you know that this episode is sponsored by the Outdoor Great Room Company. They are the experts in outdoor fire and making your backyard an experience. As the first company to enter the gas fire pit category, the Outdoor Great Room Company manufactures unique and luxury gas fire pit tables, gas fire burners, outdoor kitchen islands, patio furniture, and anything you need to fit your lifestyle. With a wide variety of sizes, shapes, colors, and price points, the Outdoor Great Company is the perfect fire pit to fit your backyard space. So check them out for holidays. They have an exclusive offer for our listeners. So go to them. They're offering 10% off your purchase with code ID10 and free shipping on any purchase over $200. They also have financing available, so that's cool. So visit them at outdoorrooms.com/inside design to get that deal. So
welcome, Cortney. Wow, I have to say, the resume just goes on and on. And that's kind of a condensed version.
Yeah.
But my very first question is, what kind of vitamins do you take?
Yeah. Well, I've got a big cup of coffee right now.
Yeah, I'm just, like I said, I have been following you guys for a really long time, from before I even transitioned from the corporate world into my creative life, and I just think that you guys are totally amazing. I know you've written 4 books. I have your new one at home, and I have to say, as most designers, we've got piles and piles of gorgeous design books around our home, and I'm embarrassed to say that I have only probably read half of the books that I have in these piles at home, but I have read this one cover to cover and think it's just so real and inspiring, and I love all, like you start out with goals and challenges and tips, and it's all amazing. So,
well, we've got
so sweet.
So much to talk about. What about, let's go ahead and start with the new Cortneys collection of furniture that debuted at this past High Point Market. So tell us about the inspiration about these 3 collections that you created.
I would love to, but first I want to say thank God you left corporate and came to the creative side.
Right? I know.
Welcome to this side of life.
The best thing that ever happened in my life.
That's wonderful. Congratulations. So I'm so excited about Cortney's collection. I felt like it was just time to grow up. You know, I will always be young at heart. But a lot of the Novogratz products are really for that kind of first apartment. And so it was just time to really offer an array of furniture that's really for your home. If you love to entertain more and really just enter the adult life. So that's really what inspired Cortney's collection. And there's a lot of great pieces that, you know, again, if I use it in my own life, if it can hold up with, you know, my 5 boys, then usually it will hit the market. And so Robert and I were so excited to pull a whole Cortney's collection together, especially during these difficult times.
We were there in High Point and we missed you. We knew you were where you were, and we were leading a tour of new designers, and we never got to run into you. But we
that's too bad.
Yeah, I know. So hopefully we'll see you at another one. But so in this collection, do you have some faves?
I do. I mean, obviously, you know, from downtown, I'm a downtown girl. We did, you know, briefly stop in LA for a while just to experience the West Coast, as everyone should. But, you know, I've been in New York for 30 years, so I raised my kids downtown. So that collection definitely speaks the best to me, you know, the strongest. But really, all 3 of them are incredible. From the Village to Uptown. You know, Uptown definitely has a little more kind of metallic. It feels a little more refined, but there's something for everyone. And the awesome thing is I really focused on scale. You know, a lot of times people will make the sofa way too big. And I constantly battle kind of that small apartment to an urban, you know, beautiful big house. But more and bigger is not always better. And so these, you know, sofas are really deep and cozy and comfortable for movie night, but they're also pretty sleek and approachable if you have a cocktail party. And they also don't dominate the entire room, or you don't have to take off the door to bring it into your house. It's really a nice size after, again, 30 years of, you know, sitting on a lot of sofas myself or buying them for clients. So I'm most proud of that we got the scale and the size of the furniture. That's so
important. I think scale is where people really struggle. You know, that's most of the times when Kelly and I are in people's homes, they just cannot get that scale right. And yes, I'm so over the big, puffy, ginormous, you know, sofas.
And what I love about that is because of a lot of the supply chain issues and just the lead times in our industry, what we're finding right now is that we're reupholstering more than we did before, and we're working on this amazing house right now, and we're incorporating a lot of the clients' antique furniture, and we needed that small scale sofa and everything that you're talking about right now to pair better with it, and it was hard to find. When we were at High Point, everything was like big marshmallows.
Yeah. A lot of huge sectionals and whatever.
Yeah, so I love that you're going in this direction.
Yeah, I agree. And I love that you're reusing. I mean, I'm constantly asking clients, what do you currently own that you want to keep? Even if you don't like the color, you can change it. Or is it an heirloom piece? Let's change the knobs or paint it or lacquer it. I think you have to have those old pieces to bring in the soul and to keep the soul of a place. But you need the new pieces too, because that's why you're renovating or updating or redecorating.
I think the mix is so great. So I have to say, I spent quite a bit of time on your website, which is shopthenovogratz.com. And it is so easy to navigate. I mean, it was really,
That's a big compliment.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time on it. And I remember when we were redoing our website, there's a lot that goes into that to get it right. And I think if you have a good website that's easy to navigate, people stay on there longer. And then there was so many, like all the categories, furniture, textiles, lighting, decor. I mean, is that so much to keep up with, all those different products?
Well, first of all, I work with my husband, so we definitely wear all the hats, but we can lean on each other from time to time. So that helps. And we have incredible partners. I mean, for example, the Shade Store, I've worked with them for over 28 years. So they're a family business as well. And so just from Dorel, from, Temp Paper to West Point Home to Globe to Momini, who makes my rugs, they're also a family business. They've been doing rugs for over 40 years. So, it takes a village, and we really lean on our relationships and our partners as much as they lean on us. And so that I feel like I'm so fortunate. And then as far as the website, you're right. It's complicated to get it right and to get a website that's engaging and that keeps people, coming back or happy. That's most important. We love to collaborate with people, to give discounts and to give, opportunities and to keep it fresh. For example, right now we're working with Zumper, which is a rental site, and we're doing a collaboration with them. And that's been really fun. And every person that, comes into our lives, either through our Shop the Novogratz and purchases some of our products, they feel like family, and we want them part of our community and part of our family. And so we learn from them. We're constantly asking, through our customer service, any feedback and what can we do better. And as you guys know, with technology, things move so quickly. And so I try to always learn, to educate myself on what's missing. And again, I lean on my children. Some of them are adults now, and so they are way cooler than I am. And we just, we constantly try to keep it fresh.
I love that you ask for the feedback, because not a lot of companies really do. When you think about it, I think that's a great thing to do, because it makes you better. You don't, you can't get in the minds of who's looking at your stuff.
Right. Well, the reality is, when Robert and I said, this was even before the pandemic, we're like, we want to have affordable pieces that are super stylish that we're going to deliver in a box to your door. And this was really kind of after we traveled the country with one of our TV shows. We realized, everybody, I'm from South Georgia originally, moved to New York at 20 years old, but everybody wants cool stuff. It's just, how can we get it? Right. And so thank God now, you can really go online and buy pretty much everything. But for us to get a great, say, futon, for example, in a box, we wanted the legs to be strong enough and it not to be like what we grew up with and having in our college, something that's really chic and cool, but that can be affordable and that can be the right size to get it in a box. And we've offered toolkits. When you get our furniture, it comes with a little toolkit and a nice little note. And if you're alone or with your roommate or with your partner, or maybe you found yourself that you've downsized in life or going through a change, you can build it yourself and put it together. So we hope to inspire people that really believe in themselves, that they are decorators, that they can do this.
I love that. We were recently in San Miguel de Allende with a bunch of, we went on a little designer girls trip. And we were sitting on the rooftop of this hotel, and we got into this huge discussion about bringing, design to the mainstream like you guys do versus that one-of-a-kind couture design. And we had one designer in our group who was just adamantly against the kind of the mainstream design. And it was It was a really healthy discussion. But my point in our discussion to her was, there are people out there that, especially, if you imagine the whole entire country and what people don't have access to, or they don't know what they don't know. And so here you guys are, and you're bringing it to their door, but you're also thinking about all these details that you've learned over the years. And it's important. I mean, we talk a lot about our homes being our havens and the power of design.
Well, exactly. I mean, I'm a visual person. I've been a visual person my whole life. And so for me, I immediately know if something's an eyesore or not. And I really believe so many people are out there that want cool things, that don't maybe know how to get it, or they're very busy in their own lives. That's why I am a decorator, is I've got a job, because some people, have a corporate job and they need me to make their home beautiful. But everybody deserves to have something cool and something really unique and, interesting and that's stylish. And it doesn't doesn't have to be so expensive. And that's the biggest thing. There are so many neat, stylish people that are on all types of budgets. And that's what Robert and I wanted to do, is give them an opportunity that, a husband and wife can decorate and still, feel like they can go to dinner and treat their children to something fun or go on a vacation, that they can still decorate their entire house and not break the bank.
The great learning lesson, there were so many in your book, the design fix, but one thing I loved was you talk a lot about budget and then wish list, and then you really, with each one of your projects, you explain where you splurged and why. And I thought that was great, because not all of your splurges were, you would readily admit some of them maybe, with the art house and the floors that you did, or, where you made mistakes,
right,
and where you really were enjoying your payoff. So I thought that was really
Yeah.
Well,
great.
I was going to say, for me in my own life, the first time Robert and I threw a little party, we wanted live music. We couldn't afford to get a band. We could barely afford to have alcohol for our guests, But we pulled a guy off the subway who was this incredible street performer, and we're like, hey, do you want to come eat and drink for free? And so people can design the life they want, and you can really have beautiful, cool things in a really hip house. It doesn't, have to cost an arm and a leg. And so I design my own life in a budget. I ask myself, what do we need this year? And that's how, I've rolled, with 7 kids. It's okay, I want this great table. How can I make that happen? Or I want to take a family vacation. So, there is ways to design the life you want. And hopefully we're giving people an opportunity to do that.
Speaking of tables, I got to read this one thing that you said in this book that it just really resonated with me. You say, we believe that the kitchen table is the most important piece that you'll ever purchase for your home. At least it was in our case. It's the soul of the house and serves everyone throughout the day. It's a place for entertaining, studying, doing homework, building a business, gossiping, nurturing, sharing stories, gathering, handling a crisis, celebrating, grieving, and at the end of most days, it's where our family connects and checks in with one another. We found this large zinc table at a flea market. It's originally from a university in Paris. It's now at our home in Massachusetts. It's one of the few items that we will never part with. So much of our family's life has unfolded at that table. It holds 10,000 stories. And I just love that. Mm-hmm. And that wraps you guys up.
You can dance on that table too.
That's totally awesome. Yeah. So are you guys doing a lot of design still for clients?
Yes. I mean, I have 7 kids, honey. I got to work. And I live in an expensive city, but of course we love still decorating for people. A lot of times Robert and I are holding up their marriage, but, we're reminding them, listen, you found each other for a reason. You can pick a paint color. It should be fine. Of course, we pick, wisely on, our time and who the clients are. Is there travel involved? Again, I lean on great, team and designers that work with us now. But we're in the middle of doing a house out in Sag Harbor for a beautiful family. And so that's what's fun, is really kind of, again, they work in corporate, so they're extremely busy. So I love saying, let me build your family wall of photographs, and then giving them the freedom that they can continue that once we leave. They can keep just adding to it.
Sag Harbor my parents live in Quogue, so Sag Harbor is one of my all-time favorites on our way to Montauk to stop.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And,
yes.
So I have to ask this. So do you think any of your children are going to follow in your footsteps?
Well, I'm so glad you said that. My daughter Bellamy definitely has the bug. She's an amazing decorator, has great style. I mean, all of them are creative. Wolfgang became an actor, Breaker's at NYU, a musician. Tallulah is the first to anything when it comes to PR, that's my go-to girl, because she's incredible. She'll tell me, please don't do that, Mom. Don't put that hashtag on a throw pillow. No one will ever buy it. So she keeps it honest. And my younger kids, again, I'm just trying to get them through school. But I definitely, our hope is they at least see how fun work can be, that you definitely have to work hard, but they have their own dreams, and we just hope that they take it serious and work hard and follow whatever they want to do. And they can always work with us. We'd love to have them.
The mix of passion and hard work, that's what it's all about, I think.
And sometimes, I've noticed, and I'm still learning as a parent, I'm in it 24 years, that each one of my kids, some find their passion sooner than others. And that then means you can also switch and change. And life is a work in progress. As long as you have some kind of creativity in your life, I feel like that really, at least for Robert and I, grounds us. And it helps us get through some of the dark days as well.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that I read that I thought was so cool was that with the 7 kids, even if you had a house like the castle that had room for 7 bedrooms, you chose to bunk the kids and then create kind of like, maybe you bunked them in one room, but then they had an extra room that was like their living space and I just thought that was so cool. Are your kids really close, and did that help them?
Well, you would have to ask them. We definitely have sibling rivalry, like every family. We have the same issues, and especially now after or during this pandemic, there's real challenges. Our kids have phones just like everyone else. That we are in it like everyone else, running a business, trying to keep our marriage strong and keep our kids healthy and functioning and thriving and all of those things. And each one has a bump from time to time, sometimes 2 at the same day, Luckily, not all 7 aren't falling apart at once. But so we have the same problems everyone else has. When it comes to, more is more, I don't believe in that. Now, yes, do I have large homes throughout my life because I happen to flip houses for a living? But there's been times we have had less. I'm currently in a rental, while I'm moving on to the next renovation. And I've always believed, like, if you have to share a space, share a bedroom, you will work your problems out. You will learn to share. You will learn to navigate life. And you shouldn't have so much. Again, that castle, when we found it and bought it, it was a 7-bedroom house. We turned it into a 4-bedroom house. It was a beautiful home. It was tons of space. But our kids have to learn to get along and share. Did they get their own areas to decorate and, express themselves? Yes. And then they had common area where if they had friends over, they could hang out. But it is important to kind of have to wait your turn or to learn to get along. So, we're big believers in, we're kind of all part of this community and family. And,
I love that.
It makes sense. Again, I design for couples who, really want their children to have everything. And I get that. And listen, my kids are more spoiled than I'd want them to be. But the reality is you don't need so much.
So true. So you're in this rental because you're working on this new home on Waverly Place.
Yes, we are. A beautiful townhouse.
So what's happening there?
So when we found this house, which was built in 1826, it had only had 2 owners. 2 owners, could you imagine, since 1826?
That's amazing.
I know. So it had the original owner, and then a guy bought it from him, and he lived there his whole life, and then his daughter went on to live there her entire life. And her name was Celeste Martin. She passed away, sadly, the day I saw the house for the first time with my son, 5. But I felt like that was kind of a sign that she was passing it on to us. And again, like, I couldn't figure out, if we could really afford it. And there were all the, kind of issues that come along when you're trying to purchase a really unique piece of property, or any property for that matter. But it had layers of wallpaper, guys, and stories that just unfolded as we started renovating this house. And it's been such a joy. It's been a hardship as well, because obviously a pandemic hit, and there's been some setbacks. Like on any job site. But it's just such a cool house. And I just feel so honored to be able to bring it up into today's, how people live today, keep kind of the soul of the house and really honor its past.
Are you documenting this?
We are documenting it, yes. And the neat thing is it has this incredible ballroom kind of artist studio masterpiece on the top floor. And if you pull up old stories about this property, it is where all the progressive movement came to Greenwich Village. And it held so many events from poets to artists to exhibits. And so we hope to kind of share that back with the community once we move in. And again, open it up to my kids' friends that are creatives and just really bring a lot of fun into the house.
Will you flip it or will you hold on to this one?
We will live there, but I never want to stop. So I never can say, sometimes I leave a house too soon. Sometimes I can't leave it fast enough. I mean, I have learned to truly live in the moment.
You guys are just, it's the gypsy soul that I love about you guys. And one thing that when I was reading your books and looking through you guys, so much of what you talk about, Joanne and I have talked a lot about on the podcast, and we talk a lot about art. And I think you guys have the most eclectic, amazing, high-low, talent for collecting art, from flea markets to high-end to valuable artists, and mixing it all together and making it amazing. And I mean, like the big massive Vic Muniz, with one of your kids as a baby in front of it. Just, I think it's something that you can really teach the public.
That's so funny because I didn't know about Vic Muniz. We learned about Vic Muniz when we went at dinner at Vern Yip's house, and they're amazing collectors.
Yes,
and
he's a friend of mine.
Is he?
And he loves Vic Muniz.
He loves Vic Muniz. Shortly after that, Vic Muniz had an exhibit at the
High, right?
At the High Museum in Atlanta, and I took my granddaughter, and I so enjoyed it. But most people, you have to get out there and look at this stuff, because this is how you learn about what's out there.
It's exactly. Well, I mean, listen. The first time I went to a Paris flea market, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like where all the things I'd seen, say, as a child in magazines, or maybe even watching MTV, where I was like, that's where they get all the cool stuff. Yeah. And that's the same with anything, with art. I mean, the great thing with art is a lot of people will say, oh, I'm going to put it in the living room. Art should be scattered throughout every part of your home. It should go into your kids' bedrooms, because they deserve to get to see things and tap into their imagination. And then again, it doesn't have to break the bank. Art can be so many things. Art can be a chair. Art can be the exterior of your house. We did art on one of our townhouses, Richard Woods. We commissioned him to do our garage and facade of our house. And so art is so many things, but most people think of something that you hang on your wall. And yes, it can be a flea market find. When my daughters were younger, I said, let's start collecting women portraits. And it was really so that I could shop longer at the flea markets. And they were maybe hot and cranky, but they got into it to where they had a purpose and a reason to go there. And no matter where we were in the world, we would buy different odd, portraits of women. And it was really such a great moment and time, and our gallery wall got bigger and bigger. And
the memories behind each one of those.
Yeah.
Oh, we were there when we got that. And I think that's what it's all about. I know a lot of times when Kelly and I will go into a home and you don't see any, it's all kind of store-bought.
Right.
It really feels cold. It doesn't, like you said, it's the soul, we can tell when someone has traveled or when someone, collects things. It just changes everything.
Well, a lot of people, if they can't travel, right, they don't have the opportunity, or maybe their partner doesn't love to travel as much. A lot of us have photographers in our own families that we don't even know about, that we could take something that a photograph they took and blow it up, and it just tells such a dramatic moment and story. There are so many ways to bring some kind of personality to your house. and to your home. So if I come over to you guys, I want to know who you are, and that is how you tell your story, is through art and through what's hanging on your walls and what colors, and everything is just, I think, so important to who we are as people.
But you know what? A lot of people don't grow up with that. There's some people who have really no clue. It's now that HGTV and all these home shows have kind of come out, people have taken so much more of an interest. But really, if you were just raised in a home where, your mom and dad had never really traveled, or their house wasn't really, you have no idea. But now with Instagram and like all the shows and everything, Pinterest and everything that's out there, I think people are really starting to get it.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it's the great thing is I didn't even go to design school, and so if there's any rules, I'm breaking them. So I'm just kind of leading with my gut, and so many people should do that and can do that. Where start a gallery wall. You don't have to hang it a certain height. Does it look right to you? Your eye will never lie. I promise you, your eye will never lie. And so start hanging things that you love. Did your parents give you some old mirror? Spray paint it, throw it up on the wall. Start framing things that mean something to you, and just start taking design risks. Start decorating. You'd be surprised. You're more talented than you think.
I think that's a great point, and I think that a lot of people have collected things, but they're hiding in a closet. It could be all the baseball tickets that you went to with your grandpa, or your grandma's and your aunt's old recipe cards, or vintage quilts, or any kind of vinyl records, just anything, and it goes on the wall, and all of a sudden there's history and a story.
Life. It's your life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, we did a bachelor's apartment. It's in one of our books, and Robert and I kind of were meeting with him and going through his belongings, and we found a duffel bag filled with tickets of events from all over the world.
Oh my
and so
God.
it was like Carnival in Rio, or the Olympic Games. And so this was incredible to know this about him. And I thought, well, God, if I'd gone on a date with you, I wouldn't even know this.
Yeah.
And, I came over and we hung out. And so Robert and I found this amazing old display case. And he's a bachelor to this day. But we put all of his tickets in there, and he can keep adding to it. And it sits now in his apartment. And so it's a very cool antique piece. And then when you look closer and deeper, you realize this man has gone to some of the best events in the world. And it's just so cool. Anyway, and so it's so important to put things out there. A lot of people live in fear, as we know, and with everything in life, but especially design. And take risk, put it up there, let your friends see who you are, and have fun decorating.
Well, I think it's so great that you and Robert, you have this voice and you have very many listeners.
Yes.
And so, there's like I said, there's a lot of design books out there. There's a lot of, designers that do beautiful work, but not all of them are giving like you guys are of your talent and telling people it's okay, and your books that explain things. I mean, I think you're going like above and beyond. It's not that you're just great designers, but I think you're really offering something to the general public that's really cool.
Our hope is people really do believe in themselves, because I even sometimes, like the first time I designed a hotel, I laid in bed with Robert. I was like, we can't do it. I can't do it. And he was like, just look at it as a bigger house, and more people will get to see it. And so, people can, decorate and have fun and do it with your first roommate or do it with your partner. I mean, sometimes, and especially even if you're tight on a budget, like we've all been home for a long time now.
Yeah.
That chair that's been sitting in your living room, pick it up and move it in your bedroom. You'd be surprised how just that alone brings a whole new fresh. You just redecorated it and you didn't even leave your house.
Yeah.
It just, spruce things up in a way that you never thought of.
One thing I think you guys are so brave with is wallpaper, and Joanne and I are avid, crazy lovers of wallpaper. But I've noticed that you guys have put it in places that we haven't even, inside closet doors, inside kitchen cabinets, staircases on the riser of each step. I mean, that overhead beams, like I see,
it's like, having a sense of humor. You have to have a sense of humor in your house, like a little week, like
exactly.
just like a coat closet why not wallpaper that whole coat closets? You see half bathrooms wallpapered, powder rooms for your guests. Well, they're going to hang up their coat, wallpaper your closet.
I love that. Yeah, that's really, really cool. So what's up for you guys besides the Waverly place? Is anything else we need to have everybody watch you guys for?
Well, yes. I mean, we've got tons of things in the works, of course. We're doing, a few decorating jobs, which are always super fun. Cortney's collection, and we're going to have a whole new Montauk collection with Cortney's collection that will come out soon.
Oh,
if you go to shop the Novogratz, the fun part is the Zumper collaboration. And so that's been really rewarding. I mean, my daughter Tallulah just got her first apartment, and the rental market, as you know, can be kind of tricky. So that's been really exciting. And then literally just, working along anything that comes our way and trying to raise our kids and keep them, thriving and everything happy for the most part, considering all of these kind of what we've just all been through as, the entire world, and just really staying optimistic and excited for what's ahead.
And you guys are the Novogratz on all your social media channels for people to follow you, right?
Yes, the Novogratz. And then, of course, Cortney Novogratz. You can always check me out without a U. It's Cortney.
Yes.
But we'd love to hear from people. So shop the Novogratz. There's fun art pieces, which are great gifts coming up for the holidays. I think it's a wonderful buying something for your home, for someone's home, whether it's, from Shop the Novogratz or from all the other great places out there. That's a real kind of like showing of love, I think, is to give something for someone's home.
I always give art to my kids for Christmas.
Oh, that's awesome.
So they can start their galleries, start little and keep growing it, but also books. I mean, I love to give books for Christmas, and you guys, all your coffee table books are totally amazing and great gifts. So
well,
keep
thank
that
you
in
guys.
mind, people.
It's been such a pleasure having you on the show, Cortney. We were very excited, but I didn't realize that there were a lot of things, your ideas and the things that you talk about are, just really impressive.
Oh, you're sweet.
Really
well,
glad.
thank you guys. Well, I look forward to seeing you guys in the market next time.
Yeah.
Well,
hang on with us for a minute. We end every podcast with a funny and a serious quote that our listeners have come to rely on us for. So I'll start with the funny quote. You ready? If someone from Ziploc could contact literally anyone in the cereal business, that would be great. That is such a good point. My husband eats cereal every morning, and he is constantly screaming at anybody that did not close the bag and the box properly.
Well, they're not easy to open either.
And I was about to say, my kids will rip them open to where they don't even stay in the bag anymore.
So you pull it out of the bag, and then you rip it open, then it's got air, and then you got to smash it to put it back in the box. It's not right. All right.
Okay, but guys, my kids can eat one box of cereal in one sitting.
Oh, yeah.
Like literally
especially
in one
your
sitting.
boys. Yeah.
Yes. I'm like, wait a minute. During the pandemic, I was like, that was supposed to last us for a week. Are you kidding me?
Oh, my God. So our serious quote, we get these from all different places. A lot of times I'll get them on Instagram, or I have, different books. But actually, I got this one from you, Cortney. So this one says, anyone that has success worked to get there. I don't care what job they've done. They work to get there. It's not going to fall into your lap. And that is so true.
Yeah. So it's not going to fall into your lazy lap.
Exactly. I keep repeating that to my 7 kids. I think they finally are getting it.
Yeah. Watch mom and dad.
Yes.
Watch us work.
Yes. So we also want to give a big thank you to the Great Room Company for sponsoring this episode. And as always, everybody, thank you for listening. And if you haven't already, please rate and review us. It helps us to get our name out there.
Yep.
And thank you so much to you, Cortney.
Happy holidays.
You too. And I really hope we can see each other in High Point, or maybe, in Long Island
you guys
sometime.
come let me know when you're in the city, and we will hang out. We'll have you over.
Oh my God, I would die.
Kelly will be getting onto Delta in the next 5 minutes after we get off the show.
She said I could call. I'm coming.
And I told you the door's always unlocked, so come on in.
Here I come. Who's that crazy blonde hair girl coming in the house.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Join Joanne and Kelly weekly for a lively conversation about trends, travels to industry events, current design projects, the good, the bad, and the ugly, do's and don'ts, product recommendations, and more. Be sure to follow the fun on Facebook. They're on Instagram at Kandrak-Cole, and of course, you've got to visit them online at kandrak-cole.com for more information.